Right, I've got a bit of a dilemma. Right, I've been down to the scrap heap or scrap yard this morning to buy some piping to make a barrel for this. Now, what I managed to find, this is a counterweight at the moment, by the way, if you're wondering what the hand wheel's doing there. Yeah, so I've been looking for some barrel material. Now, I've got this piece of piping. Somewhere I've got a tape measure. One moment. Yes, found a tape measure. Now, if we look at the photographs I've got over here of various parts, that's the tail hitch. Right, let's see. Here's the rear end of the barrel sitting in the cradle and so on. You can see at the back end it goes quite square, and this area here it widens out quite bulbous. Now, I've been trying to work out dimensions, and I'm guessing that this point here, that wide part, is around about 6 inches in diameter, and you can see it tapers in, and then it steps down to what I believe to be approximately 4 inches in diameter as it passes through the shield. Yeah, so as I say, this is the wide section. I think that's about 5 inches. Then it's 4 inches, but it still tapers gently as it goes to the front of the barrel. But that's going to be something which would be very hard to achieve. Now, what I was originally thinking of doing was bringing one diameter of pipe to this point here, where this fixing is, and then stepping it down in diameter by maybe as much as an inch or half an inch. So it would be basically, it would break up the line. Your eye wouldn't notice that there was an obvious change in diameter at that point. So I've more or less worked out that the distance from the shield here to this point here is about 75 centimeters. Now, this is just working out roughly from looking at photographs and comparing them to the dimensions of the wheels, because I know the wheels should be 75 centimeters in height. If I just take a quick measurement, this is where I'll prove myself wrong now. Okay, as I just said, I've proved myself slightly wrong. That's actually 71 centimeters. Well, that's life, isn't it? Okay, so I'll tell you what, I'll revise what I said. I'll say that the distance from there to there is approximately 70 centimeters. Revising my plans while I'm working here, making the video. So, what I've managed to pick up, as I say, that was a counterweight, which is just shifted. Put the camera down. Right, put that back again. Balance it. Right. Okay. So what I have here is a big piece of steel piping, and This is actually a piece of traffic light pole which I got from the scrapyard. They get quite a bit of this in at the scrap dealer that I go to, and this piece was sawn out of a length which was probably about 20 foot long, and it actually does have a taper on it. If I measure it at this end here, it is just about 4.5 inches in width. Now, this is the wide end, obviously, and if I go round to the front, this point here is actually 4 inches in width, that point there, but then obviously it necks down here and it reduces down to 3 inches. Now I'm trying to work out what is the best to do here. I think the total barrel length on the real one would be somewhere in the order of maybe near to 2 meters. I'll have to look up the specifications. It might be 1.6 or 2 meters, but I'm not really over worried about the total length. If mine ends up being a little bit shorter, I don't mind. It's probably going to be less of a hassle when it comes to towing it on the roads and so on. Less worry if the barrel's sticking all the way out. Here, you know, if it's a little bit shorter than the real one, I'm not over worried. Now, as I was saying, the dimension where the barrel comes to, or where that mounting the cradle underneath the barrel comes out to, I estimate is about 70 centimeters. So if I put the camera down and move it a bit further away, I think. Now that would give me 70 centimeters. That would put it just about there. So that's where this reduces in diameter here. 70 centimeters. Now, something I'm thinking about doing is leaving this section like that and extending this part here, which is 3 inches, outwards to approximately 1 foot or 18 inches further. And to do that, I've got some more of this piping. This happens to be 3 inches diameter. Now if I move the camera again and position it somewhere just about here to the side, the idea is that I could lengthen that out like so. Maybe 12 inches is all I would need. Then that would leave a good section of this pipe over. Now, this pipe that's remaining left over, I could use that as the piece of piping that goes underneath the gun, underneath the barrel, I should say. If I get the pictures again, which you now whisked away across the floor to me, you will see, if I can do this without reflections, you'll see that underneath the barrel there's a pipe which runs there, and this, I'm guessing, has got, in the original gun, has got a spring running inside it, which is part of the damping system for the recoil. If I flip this over, the cradle that the barrel is mounted on finishes just around there, which is near to where the barrel widens out, or maybe just before where the barrel widens. So that cradle I can make up out of a few pieces of metal which I've started chopping up. I'll just show you what I've got. Now, what I have is this piece of steel, which is approximately 2.5mm thick, and I'd say it's about 2 inches wide. Now I actually cut this all the way down its length with a reciprocating saw yesterday to make this piece of stuff. It was actually a piece of metal left over from when I had the conservatory built. I'll just show you. Here is the other side of it, which it's basically made a rectangular piece of steel but with a slot running down one side. Now that meant I only had to cut down one side to get two pieces of this. See, as I was cutting it, and the stress went out of it, it created a bend along its length. But I've just bent it back by hand to straighten it out a bit. Now the idea is, if I flip that over, is to weld two pieces of T-section steel onto the two outer edges of this, which will widen it to 140mm, 14 centimeters. Now here's the T-section steel which I've got. Here, see? T-section. So if I put that on its side and hold that there, you can see, if you look along the length of it, if I was to weld that I can weld in at any point to achieve the width I need. So that will give me the like cradle which the barrel sits in. It's not identical to how the original one looks, but I think it's going to do the job approximately. The real one would be more, could be achieved more easily if I had a piece of flat steel which was actually 14 centimeters wide. Then if I was to weld two pieces of U-section steel underneath it, which would look like, let's see if I got any U-section steel lying around. Here's a very small piece, but I'd be talking about some heavier stuff than this. This is, as I say, U-section steel. See? U-section. So to make it look better, I would need some steel flat bar about 14 centimeters wide, then weld the U-section underneath it like so. Now the reason I say this is because I believe the U-section acts as a form of slide for the recoil of the system. I think part of the mechanism slides in this channel. Now if you look at some pictures, which I'll try and put into the video at this point, it may explain it a little bit clearer. That's providing I can find decent pictures of it to explain. Here is the photograph I've printed out, and if you look right there, you can see what I'm talking about there. This piece of steel which is underneath the pipe has like performs like some form of a channel and a rail of some form, and slides backwards and forwards on the round pipe which is mounted underneath it. As I say, inside that pipe is probably a very large spring to damp the recoil. So my question is, what way to do this barrel? Do you think I'm on the right lines here, just extending this out by 12 to 14 inches maybe to about there, or should I possibly move this whole barrel forwards and leave the barrel at the diameter of 4 inches all the way out to approximately here, and just saw this piece off? Now you're going to say, well, that's going to look awful at the end of the barrel because you're going to have this near 4-inch hole, which just is not going to look realistic with the original gun barrel. And I do agree on that regard. Now what I could do is at the end of the barrel I can just put a disc on the end welded on with a smaller hole in to give the look of it being 37mm. But going down from 4 inches in diameter all of a sudden to 37mm, a 37mm hole in the middle, that's going to look odd. It's going to look a bit like a American Civil War cannon or something, you know, small bore and a very big heavy cast outer. So I think the best option is to weld some more 3-inch pipe onto here and extend it out. Anyway, let me know what you think on this. What's the best idea? As I say, I'm not worried about making it the full length. Over here I've got a photograph or a printout of the real gun. Now you can see the length of the barrel. In fact, the whole gun, if I remember right when I looked up on Wikipedia, is around 13 foot long. So 13 foot long. I think mine's going to be a little bit shorter than that, but I'm not worried about that. If it makes it a little bit easier for me to tow and gives me a little bit more room when I'm storing it, I'll be quite happy with that, to be honest. So just pick up this picture. Right, here we have a picture, as I said before, of the rear of the gun. Now you can see with the length of pipe I've got here, I could probably still afford to push this further forwards, and then, well, I would have liked to have done the section here where it widens out to 5 inches, but I suspect that's going to be a little bit difficult to do. I might be able to just get some sheet steel, wrap it round and try and make it graduated, you know, sloping in, but I don't know whether it's really worth it. What I might just do is put a steel box on the back here and duplicate or make a mock-up breech for it. So if I did that, I could effectively cut this a bit shorter. So it's what to do. You can also see here I've moved these trunnion blocks back. Now I'm actually starting to wonder now whether these trunnion blocks are strong enough or big enough. Possibly this the bar mounting point should probably be around 3/4 of an inch for a piece of 3/4 inch bar, not 1/2 inch bar, which is what I've made it for. Only reason I say this is if I've got a barrel which is sticking all the way out there and for some reason it gets bumped, it could be that the bar will be too flimsy and might bend. The whole cradle might twist on that mounting position. The bar might not be strong enough. So it could be that I should be redoing those and making them bigger. These are M6 screws into it, M6 bolts I should probably say. Now probably M8s would be more realistic, but I was just trying to use the metal I had. Yeah, not trying to make it too heavy. So I'll have to consider that. But at this point, I think I really want to work out what I should be doing with the barrel. So I'll post this video up and get some feedback from people, see what they think. This actual piece of piping, as a matter of interest, is 1.5 meters in length, and then, as I say, it necks in there to 3 inches. And what did I say? I think it was about 4.5 inches wide at the back end here. Yeah, I think I've got enough to play around with. It's just thinking of the best way to utilize it. Yeah, okay then, I'll post this video up. Oh, I also got a piece of piping cut off from the very bottom end of the light street lamp post. Now this stuff, as I said, the lamp post tapers, so this piece here will be even larger than that one. If I get my tape measure out of my pocket again, stand that up. That's actually 5 inches there, and that piece there, as I say, was just about 4.5 inches. Potentially I might be able to slide part of this over that and just weld it on. That would widen it up, as I say, to 5 inches. So that could be what I should be looking at. Just as a matter of interest, see how wide that is there. That's 5 inches. It could be that I could slide this over this pipe from that end and slide it all the way down, then just weld it, and that would widen it up to 5 inches. So that's maybe what I should be doing. Anyway, what do you think, guys? How should I do this? So that's the bits of metal I've got to work with.